And you get on a highway and there's just traffic. But anyway, I hope you're all doing good. In case you don't know, my name is Pete, they call me Scooby. And you're on the 508 Diner channel. 508 is my area code, Diner is what I ride. That's what my new headlight does. It sets off a code, especially when I ride with my high beam on. I put my high beam on the highway. I had it on a low beam. Right now it's on a low beam again, but whatever. I can clear it. One good thing about the FP3 tuner by Vance & Hines is with the app you can go in there and clear the trouble code. And the trouble code reads no or faulty low beam light. But I can clearly see from my reflection on this guy's truck that it's on. We're slowing down again. So I guess now would be a great time to talk about how I got into motorcycles. So when I had the chicken pox, I don't know, I think I was about 8 years old. I've always, well, even before that, I've always liked watching Chips Patrol. Who didn't like watching Ponch and John, right? The two coolest guys on motorcycles. What's up, man? Nice Honda. So, who didn't like watching those guys? So, when I was like 8 or 10 years old, I forget how old I was, I ended up with a chicken pox. And, I remember being like really needy, or you know, of course I was a kid, I was really needy, and my mom kept asking me, because I was her baby. I had an older brother, but I was her baby. My mom kept asking me what did I want that would make me feel better, what did I need that would make me feel better, and I told her I wanted a motorcycle. And ever since that day, I've always wanted a motorcycle. So no, she didn't get me a motorcycle. She was really against it. So I remember, you know, as you get older, I got my first car. I actually got a car before I got my license, and I blew the motor in the driveway, of course, because I didn't have my license, so I couldn't drive it. So I blew the motor in the driveway, right? Yeah. So I blew the motor in the driveway, but whatever. I ended up getting another car. But anyway, so, you know, working, I was working since 14 years old, still in school. I just really wanted a car really bad, so I kept working, and I'm still working. But anyway, I got my first car, and I've always still wanted a motorcycle. But I was only working part-time, you know, and then you get into the dating game, and you know, and then I met my my wife. Back then she was obviously my girlfriend, and you know, dating, and I don't know, I couldn't see dating on a motorcycle, so whatever, car it was. So we played the whole car game for a while, and then, you know, I wanted to show her I can grow up, because we were really young. We were like, I don't know, 18-ish. Is that an Indian or is that a Honda? I can't even tell. I think it's an Indian, like an older Indian. So, you know, we got engaged. I got a full-time job. Then we were saving up for an apartment and furniture and all that good stuff. So then we got married. And then, what do we got here? Oh, we got a breakdown. So we got married, and then, you know, and then you start realizing, shoot, living on your own is expensive. because we didn't live with our parents. We went right into an apartment, so you know, so, and of course when you first get married and you first move in together, it's never easy. If anybody tells you it is, they're lying, because you have to learn each other, you know, what buttons to press, what buttons not to press, what buttons to press if you want to get them mad, all that good stuff. So anyway, so it was a little rough at the beginning, like everybody else, I'm sure, you know, especially when you're young. We got married right at 21. I turned 21 in May, I got married in June, and we're still together. So you know, living in the apartments, and then, you know, the house thing started coming up, and I was like, all right. So I ended up getting a second job, and I had multiple little jobs. Anyway, long story short, I got my first motorcycle when I was, I'd say, 25, and it was a 1986 Honda Shadow. Was that yeah? No, I'm lying. I was like 28. Cause I already had the house. No, I didn't have the house. I had the house at 28, and I already had the bike for about 4 years. Yeah, so I was about 24, 25 years old. So I got my first motorcycle. Now it's going to get a little loud because now the traffic's moving on the highway, on the freeway over here. So yeah, 24, 25, I got my first motorcycle. I had no idea how to ride it. Nobody I knew had a motorcycle. I bought it off my friend's dad. What he did was he brought it to my house, well, the apartment that I was living at. I was living at my mom's house in one of her apartments. He brought it over there. He showed me just a quick, you know, clutch, gears, and that was it. So it sat there for, I don't know, it didn't sit there too long. It sat there for a couple of weeks. But what I would do to it is, the bike had a center stand. So if you're not familiar with a center stand, is when you put the bike on the center stand, the rear wheel comes up off the ground. So my mom had a carport, and my bike was over there in the carport. So I'd sit there, start up the bike, you know, practice the little throttles, you know, feel the clutch, shift the gear, put it into first gear, because I was remembering how he told me how to shift it. So now the bike's on the center stand, right? So I'd hold the rear brake, you know, nervous. The rear wheel is off the ground. I probably don't recommend doing this, but I'd sit there, and with the bike running, I put it into gear. What's up, dude? Yep. I put it into gear while it was on the center stand, and I would just slightly let the tires spin, you know, feel that little friction zone. I didn't know we had a friction zone at the time. I didn't know anything about it. All I felt was I thought I was going to burn out my clutch. Because if you come from a standard car, the longer you sit there and hold that clutch down, you start burning your clutch. So I'm like, man, I'm going to burn this clutch. So I just slowly sat there, revving it up, going through the gears, probably I don't know, second, third gear. I don't think I went up to fifth gear. While the bike was sitting on the center stand, may I add you. So if anything happened, and that bike jerked forward, and I had that tire spinning at like 50 miles an hour, I was going through my neighbor's garage. That would not have been a fun time. So, you know, I practiced a little bit. I got the feel for the clutch. So I took my bike out, and my mom lives like in a little alleyway. Well, her driveway does. So I pull out the bike into a little alleyway, and I'd slowly, even with my feet on the floor almost, just feel that first gear, ride down the street, get off the bike, turn it around. That was hard, let me just tell you, and ride back up the street slow. I did that a couple of times. were my feet always off the pegs. And then I learned going from first gear to second gear, going down the street. Now my feet are on the pegs. Still didn't know how to turn. I was afraid to make a turn with a bike. So I really apologize for the wind if you're hearing this. So I got the bike registered, got my permit, got the bike registered, got it on the road. So now I know more or less how to ride a motorcycle. More or less. I didn't know any turns. So I started going down the street. Now the bike's registered. I'm not worried about cops or anything. And I started making turns into the roads. You know, and then in my head I was like, this is just like a bicycle, just about, except that the motor actually fights you to keep your bike upright. I didn't realize that leaning the bike to make a turn, I mean, turning the wheel a little and leaning the bike was going to fight me as much as it did. Because I thought, you know, like a bicycle, you lean, you go. With this, it fights you because the way the pistons walk, it forces the bike straight up and down. So I felt safe on making turns. So I started, you know, going into the turns and I was just going around the block, put the bike away. I was taking really small baby steps. So eventually, I mustered up the will to take it on Route 18. Route 18 is not like a freeway like this, but top speed there is 55 miles an hour. So I don't know if I did 55 miles an hour. I probably did, because anyway, whether I did or I didn't, it doesn't matter. But that's when I started getting into the freeway little rides. And I still didn't know anybody with a motorcycle, so I'm learning this all on my own. And this was, I don't know, back in 94, 95, wait, 95, around there, I don't even know. No, it was later than that. It was like 99. There was no such thing as internet. If there was, I didn't know about it. We all had dial-up. If you don't know what dial-up internet is you go log in. We had AOL, and it would go boo, boo, and you waited like 10 minutes for you to get on the internet. But I didn't know what the internet was. I mean, so I had no idea to Google how to ride a motorcycle. I didn't know if there was even instructions out back then. So I renewed my permit 2 times. And here in the state of Massachusetts, I think it was 2 times. But I had the motorcycle for 4 years with me just riding on my permit. I wasn't even licensed. So that's how I started riding. And then, I mean, I was riding the motorcycle for 4 years, so I was pretty confident on how to ride a motorcycle, right? And I did not know how to ride a motorcycle. When I bought my house, I didn't have time for the motorcycle. The motorcycle needed work. It was an 86 Honda Shadow. It was a 700, and it was held together by electrical tape. So I got rid of the bike. I just gave it away. And I gotta get gas. So I got rid of the bike, and then I let my permit go. Excuse me. When my permit expired, I got that weird feeling in my chest, man. My gut, my chest, I was like, this can't be real. Like, shoot, I got a house, now I don't have a motorcycle. I've always wanted a motorcycle. This cannot be real. Like, this cannot happen to me. So on one of my birthdays, later on down the road, I got my permit back. I got my permit, and then I went for my MSF course. I forget what it's called. I think it's MSF course. And in my head, I was like, oh, this could be a breeze because I know how to ride. I've been riding for 4 years. Oh boy, was I wrong. That's when I learned the friction zone. That's when I learned how to brake. That's when I learned how to jump over things, believe it or not. That's when I learned how to when to brake on a turn. You don't brake on a turn, you bring the bike straight up before you brake. I learned to do emergency braking. There's so much to learn. U-turns, figure eights, I've actually been thinking about going back again just to refresh my memory. So by the time I got my license, I don't know how old I was, but in 2015, actually 2014, this is a 2015. This is a 2015 custom, ordered in 2014. So I got this 2015 and 2014 custom ordered. Back then, you can go on a Harley website and spec out the bike that you want. Go on there, da da da. You can build it like you can do a car these days. Now you can't do that on Harley Davidson. It's too bad. So by the time I got this bike, it's been 10 years. I remember 10 years. Yes, it was 10 years because my house, I bought the house and I haven't been on the bike, and I bought the house in 2003. I got it in 2014, so it was actually 11 years. 11 years before I got back on the bike. And it's been history ever since. I love it, man. So anyway, I'm gonna fly around here, and I gotta get gas, and you know. So anyway, if you all enjoy this content, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for future content. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And leave comments below on how you started. I want to know how you guys started. I'll catch you guys in the next one.